When I was a kid, there was a magic about trying new games that I believe has been lost over the years. Not because I've gotten older, just simply because we know too much. With all this Facebook, Twitstagramming, it's nearly impossible for games to maintain any air of mystery. It seems that before a game even comes out, the gameplay has been torn apart by critics. As I was perusing the shelves of DayZ Video in 1998, I didn't have any preconceived notions or biases towards any of the games in front of me. Before a game was released, I hadn't even seen anyone play it. There was always this excitement about the discovery, and that's just how I feel about early access games on Steam. It's an exciting and magical journey through game development, one that keeps me coming back for more. Here's my list of 5 early access games on Steam worth purchasing. Stranded Deep. When we think about early access games, we often think of games that are unfinished or horribly broken. Although not terribly broken, Stranded Deep is probably the most glitchy game on this list. However, that didn't stop it from completely sweeping me away from reality. This first-person survival game begins after your private jet has crashed in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You awake alone on a raft in a conclave of islands, putting you directly in the shoes of Tom Hanks in Castaway. To survive, you must reap the islands for what they're worth and make the most of the resources at your disposal. No need for Wilson here. With an endless number of islands to explore and an ocean filled with sunken ships and dangerous sea life, you'd be surprised just how exciting getting stranded can be. Don't Starve Together. It seems like every time I check the new releases tab on Steam, there's another survival horror type of game available. Don't Starve and its expansion, Don't Starve Together, are a refreshing and pleasantly strange spin on the nearly oversaturated genre. The 2D survival co-op basically screams Tim Burton with a touch of Courage the Cowardly Dog. There's a cast of several oddly unique and quirky characters to choose from, like the manic young girl with a lighter she can't keep in check to the strong man with a fancy mustache and an insatiable appetite. Between the beefalo, the gobblers, the small birds, and the tall birds, it almost feels like you're traversing a twisted Dr. Seuss storybook. Resources in the game must be maintained and thought out just as the crafting. If you spend too much time looking for berries and run out of wood, you might just die to whatever monsters lurk in the darkness. Darkest Dungeon. A grueling hybrid genre game that blends elements of roguelikes and dungeon crawlers with the battle system of a turn-based RPG. The game is not for the faint of heart and can only thoroughly be appreciated by a true masochist. I'm sort of kidding here. If you like a challenge, this game will surely satiate your craving, and then some. Beating Darkest Dungeon requires a good deal of strategic planning and attention to detail. There are environmental key elements to gameplay, such as light. True to its name, it's quite dark in these dungeons, and the darker it gets, the more difficult your battles will become. Stress management is a big part of the mechanics in the game as well. Your level of stress will affect each character's endurance in battle differently. Even with utmost preparation, don't think you'll escape with your party unscathed. You are likely to die early and then die again. The tears will be salty, but persevere and the victory will be sweet. Besiege. Let me tell you about the flying death machine I created in Besiege. It's essentially an airborne boom cube with several rows of bombs built inside of it and multiple propellers on top. I keep it a little lighter in the back and slightly heavier in the front so it flies forward towards whatever doomed structure lies in front of it. Then boom. That, my friends, is Besiege in a nutshell. It's a construction-based game about the art of destruction. You build gigantic flying war machines and armored vehicles laden with blades and saws to pillage villages and cut through waves of tiny soldiers and herds of sheep. Cute little sheep that pop like blood-filled balloons upon impact. The only problem I encountered with Besiege is it sometimes has trouble rendering very large or complicated designs. Aside from that, it's a hysterical good time and solidly worth the $6.99 you'll pay, which happens to be cheaper than my lunch today. DayZ. Before I give you any details about the gameplay here, it should be known that in January 2015, this early access game surpassed 3 million copies sold. That's more than so many fully finished games make in a lifetime. How does this early access game, riddled with hackers and unfinished maps, accomplish this? Because it's awesome. Was that too simple? Well, it's fact. Mod-turned-game, DayZ is an MMO open-world survivor horror game set in Eastern Europe where most of the population has been turned into dangerous zombies. But honestly, zombies are the least of your problems. It's the players you have to worry about. Among the many stressful PvP encounters you will have, bandits, players that kill other players to loot them, are among the worst. Here are some beginner's tips. Stay off the roads, stay out of PvP zones, and if you hear gunshots, just run away because you're probably not prepared to handle whatever's going on. And that completes my list of 5 early access games worth buying. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe, and for more content like this, head over to usgamer.net.